finally walked away from your narcissistic ex, blocked them everywhere, and started healing. But something inside you keeps wondering, what are they thinking right now? Are they plotting, panicking, or have they already moved on like you never mattered? Here's why this question haunts you more than it should. Your brain is still wired to anticipate their next move because that hypervigilance kept you safe for so long. But not knowing what's happening in their head is actually keeping you trapped in their psychological grip, even when you're physically free. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact 3-phase psychological breakdown that happens when a narcissist realizes you're truly gone forever. By the end, you'll recognize these phases if they try to contact you. And more importantly, you'll understand why your silence is the most powerful response you could ever give. Before we dive into what happens in their head, you need to understand the mirror principle. Narcissists don't just see you as a person. They see you as a reflection device. Every emotion you show, every reaction you have becomes information they use to construct their self-image. You weren't just in a relationship with them. You were their primary identity validation system. When you were crying, their brain registered, I have power. When you were angry, they thought, I have impact. When you loved them, they felt, I exist. Without your reactions, their sense of self literally starts to dissolve. And when that mirror suddenly goes dark, that's where our 3 phases begin.
Most people think narcissists just get angry when you leave and then move on to their next victim. That's not just wrong, it's dangerously incomplete. The rage phase isn't about losing you. It's about something far more terrifying to them. See, when you were in the relationship, you served as what psychologists call their external regulation system. You weren't just supply. You were their emotional GPS. Every reaction you had told them who they were in that moment. Your tears confirmed their power. Your anger proved their impact. Your love validated their existence. But here's what happens in their brain when you go completely silent. Without your reactions, they're experiencing what researchers call narcissistic injury. But on a neurological level, their brain literally cannot regulate their self-image without external feedback. So that initial explosion of rage, the angry texts, the accusations, the character assassination campaigns, that's not them being vindictive. That's their brain in full panic mode, desperately trying to provoke any reaction from you. They might call you crazy, ungrateful, or claim you never loved them. They'll tell your friends twisted versions of your relationship. Every single behavior serves one purpose: getting you to break silence and give them back their reflection. The rage isn't about missing you. It's about losing their mirror. So that rage, it's actually panic disguised as anger. They're not mad at you for leaving. They're terrified they might not exist without you watching. Now this is where most survivors make a crucial mistake. They think the love bombing and desperate messages mean the narcissist has changed or realizes what they've lost. But the second phase isn't about love at all. It's about something much more calculated. Here's a callback to what I mentioned earlier about you being their mirror. When the rage doesn't work, when you don't respond to the anger, their brain shifts into what I call mirror reconstruction mode. They're not trying to win you back because they love you. They're trying to rebuild their reflection. Think about it this way. Imagine you've been looking at yourself in the same mirror for years, and suddenly that mirror goes black. You'd frantically try everything to get that reflection back, right?
This is why the manipulation gets so sophisticated in phase 2. The love letters, the promises to change, the I'm in therapy now messages, the health scares, the suicide threats, none of this is about you. It's about restoring their ability to see themselves through your reactions. Each message is them shaking that black mirror, hoping something will light up their reflection again. And here's the kicker. The more elaborate the manipulation, the more desperate they are. When someone who used to barely remember your birthday is suddenly writing poetry about your eyes, that's not love awakening, that's existential panic. They might involve other people, flying monkeys, family members, mutual friends. If they can't get you to reflect their image directly, they'll try to see themselves through other people's reports about you. They might accidentally text you something meant for someone else, create fake emergencies, or stage chance encounters. Every tactic has one goal: getting any form of reaction that confirms their existence in your world. Phase 2 can last weeks to months, depending on how central you were to their identity. The longer it goes on, the more desperate they become.
But here's the part that changes everything. And it's something most people never get to see because they break no contact too early. There's a third phase that only happens when you truly never come back. And it's not what you'd expect. Remember earlier when I said your silence is more powerful than you realize? Here's why. In the first 2 phases, they still believe you're playing the game, that you're just harder to reach or temporarily upset. But when months pass with zero response, something shifts in their psychology. They hit what psychologists call narcissistic collapse, but it's not the kind you might imagine. Phase 3 isn't dramatic. There's no final explosion or grand gesture. Instead, something far more profound happens. They're forced to confront the fact that someone exists completely independently of their influence. For someone whose entire worldview is built on their ability to impact others, this is like discovering gravity doesn't work on you. Some never recover from this. Others adapt by completely rewriting their story about you. Their brain literally restructures memories to maintain their self-image. Some will decide you were never that important anyway. Others will paint you as the villain where they're the victim. Some will convince themselves you never really loved them, that the relationship was fake. This isn't conscious lying. Their brain is protecting their ego. But here's what matters for you. By this point, you've become psychologically irrelevant to their daily existence. You're not even worth hating anymore. The obsessive thoughts about you fade. You become essentially a non-person in their psychological landscape.
Now let me bring this full circle to that question you had at the beginning. What are they thinking right now? Here's the truth that will set you completely free. In phase 1, they're thinking about how to regain control over you. In phase 2, they're thinking about how to reconstruct their image through you. But in phase 3, if you stay strong and never break, they stop thinking about you altogether. Your silence doesn't just protect you, it literally erases you from their psychological landscape. And that's not cruel, it's liberation. Remember when I promised to show you why your silence is the most powerful response? This is it. Every text you don't send, every call you don't answer, every social media post you don't engage with is moving them through these phases faster. Your absence is actively rewriting their neural pathways. The hypervigilance you felt at the beginning, it will fade as you realize they're not plotting your destruction, they're processing their psychological irrelevance. Their opinion of you was never really about you anyway. It was about what you reflected back to them about themselves. When you understand this deeply, their approval stops mattering. Their disapproval stops hurting. Their entire psychological relationship with you is revealed for what it always was, a reflection of their internal world, not a judgment of your worth. And that, my friend, is how you know you're truly free. If you found this helpful, I've created a detailed guide about the specific signs each phase is happening and how to protect yourself during their transition. It's linked below. But more importantly, if you're in no contact right now and questioning whether you should break it, remember, every day you stay silent is another day closer to your complete psychological freedom. They may not realize you're never coming back yet, but your brain is already building a life where that doesn't matter. The wondering will fade, the hypervigilance will heal, and one day you'll realize you haven't thought about what they're thinking in weeks. That's when you'll know the mirror is finally completely broken and you're finally completely free.